Oh, what's up, America? Uh, the portion of America that's
Okay, that's
listening.
good for her.
I was just on
You trying
Yahoo
to do it,
and
huh?
I seen it said Republicans launching new attack on Obama health care and Obama applying itself to trying to get it relaunched and corrected. But the part that stuck out to me was the Republicans launching a new
But I'm trying not to talk about
attack.
this man over here doing something and
And
me over here talking on the
I
phone.
said, wow, all the money they didn't spend in attacking the
Okay,
president
love
when it
money.
wasn't the
Calm
health
it
care, it
down.
was something else.
Okay, calm it down.
Whatever he's brought to the table, they done attacked it. They done everything they can to make him look unworthy of the presidency. They done spun millions and billions and millions and billions and millions and billions of dollars to accomplish this goal. And yet you're still a touch preparing to attack once again. What about attacking what's killing America? What about attacking the poverty in America? I mean, the money that they've spun to make the president look bad, just think, they could have gave all of us $100,000 and they still have change left over. That would have done something for the poverty. Hey, and tell China and everybody else we're not bringing your stuff in. We're gonna give you this $100,000. You're gonna spend it in America, and we're bringing all our jobs back to America. Why not talk about something like that if you want to talk about something? Why continue to attack something? That it's like beating a dead horse because they're going through with the creation of it. So let it go through, see if it fails. Until then, get to something that's going to benefit the people. Something's going to benefit people like me. Oh, by the way, some good health insurance will benefit not
Huh?
just me, but my family and others that I know as well. But it's just amazing to me.
Yeah.
Now, this is my thought though on their getting ready to launch another attack. I think about Facebook. I think about YouTube. I think about MySpace. I think about all these social networks, these dating networks, these networks with all the pornography on them that don't fail to play. But yet, this particular web site, this social network, if we may, because you socially go on there and do what you got to do to get signed up, it's got more bugs than all these put together. And that they're planning another attack stuck out for me because I've been thinking from Jump Street, somewhere along the line, the truth is going to come out, and someone has sabotaged the website. It only makes sense. I mean, I've been going on Facebook now for quite some time. It has not crashed yet. Never was a MySpace person, but it ain't crashed either. It's still out there. YouTube, Twitter, we date, they date, who date, they all going. But one of the most important websites in American history right now is just a straight failure. And no one looking to see, oh, they just spent all this money to make him look bad. Somebody done paid for some great hackers to go off in there and destroy the work so that it make him look bad. If we can't kill the healthcare law in one direction, we'll kill it on the other. But all that money to put into saying that people like you and me don't deserve good health care. Now I don't know, and I'm not going to do like all them other folks that's voicing their opinions, saying and acting like they didn't read and they understand the health care law backwards and forwards. I don't know, but I do know this: when I was young, they did not force me to get insurance on a vehicle. All of a sudden, the law was passed that forced me to get insurance on a vehicle, and the insurance companies has been taking advantage of people ever since. Okay, and I think it's a good thing that you have insurance on your vehicle because if you get in an accident or someone hits you, you need to be able to be compensated for your time in the hospital, your hospital bills, and what have you. So it's not a bad thing, but they still forced it upon us. I remember when I was young, you didn't have to wear your seatbelt. But they passed a law saying that I had to wear my seatbelt. And now here in Northern California, a seatbelt ticket is 100 and some odd dollars if you get one. Okay, if you make a decision that you don't want to put your seatbelt on. It's my car, it's my seatbelt, and if I want to risk my life, why shouldn't I be allowed to? But they passed that. You know why they passed that? Because that's something that only hurts people that don't have it to pay, and those that do have it to pay don't care about getting the tickets. Those that do have it to pay don't care about getting the car insurance. But what about that mama that's struggling to take care of her children and she can't afford the car insurance? So now she gets a ticket for driving without it. And now guess what? Her license gets suspended because she wasn't able to afford to take care of the ticket. Now guess what? She's riding illegally. So now guess what? She gets pulled over again. Now the car is impounded and she's in jail and she can't provide for her children. You know, it only is designed to affect those who cannot afford it. Well, now, what do I think about that in contrary with the healthcare law? Well, if they forced me to get this insurance I didn't want for a car that I may never use, because there's people that's been driving 30 years that has never filed an insurance claim a day in their life. My car got scratched up and I called them about it and they told me there was nothing they could do about it. Okay. Opposed to wanting good help. Well, if you're going to force something on me, force good help on me. You know, and all that rhetoric that people are talking, all that sickness that people are talking about this, about that, about this, about that. Well, you know what? Up until this point, you ain't had no great options. You go to the doctor, you ain't got no good medical insurance. Guess what? You don't get no good treatment. You ever notice that all poor children's, when you take your babies off into the hospital, they all got viruses, ear infections. That's what's always wrong with them, ear infections. I remember one time I took my wife to the hospital. Actually, the ambulance took her to the hospital. They classified her as an addict, which she is not, never has been, and said she was often there trying to get some medications because she didn't have good insurance. Was the diagnosis. All of a sudden, she poltergeist across the room. When I say poltergeist, in other words, she threw up and it just shot across the room. And the doctor happened to be there, and he said, "Oh no, we're not going to send you home." But you was just getting ready to send her home, basically saying she was faking. They send her up, they check her in. She goes in, and this is at Sutter Solano Hospital in Vallejo, California. She goes in. 3 days later, me and the doctors is constantly getting into it because they're trying to say the pain's all in her head. A Christian doctor comes in, and me and him go to talking, and we get into a good conversation. He says, "Have they done a sonogram?" And she says, "No." He says, "Well, the first thing they should have done was a sonogram. Let me get you off to get a sonogram done." Now, if she'd have had the right insurance, guess what? That'd have been the first thing they would have done. But because she was poor and black, it didn't matter. By the way, it don't matter whether you black or white or pink or yellow. Just be poor. It don't matter. So all y'all out there that's rooting against the president because of the color of his skin that ain't got money, you're dumb. Okay? Point blank. You're dumb. Because those that got money don't care nothing about you. Okay? They just play on your idiocy. Anyway, so he sent her in to get this sonogram. Now, mind you, 6 doctors, if I remember right, had seen her up to this point and tried to tell her all the pain was all in her head, all in her mind. Okay? And they was gladly giving her the dope. She told me, "I'm beginning to feel like I'm an addict because the only time I get relief is when I'm taking these drugs, and I don't want to take no more of these drugs." But they wasn't finding the problem, and they was going to let her go again. But this Christian doctor came in that thought more of her than what he thought about the money she could pay. Sent her off to get a sonogram, which he, by the way, once again, I'm going to repeat, said should have been the first thing they done. And when she went to get the sonogram, it came back that her fallopian tube had twisted over, and it had swelled up this big, literally the size of a softball inside of her. And they had to do an emergency operation. And if it would have busted in her, 9 times out of 10, she would have died. So if they'd have went on to send her home, and it would have busted in her, 9 times out of 10, she would have died because all that poison would have been in her body. So for all you folks out there that's shouting that you don't need some kind of good medical to look out for you, Well, you need to reevaluate that. Stop playing dumb and jumping how these folks want you to jump. Hey, there's a couple of things that the president has done that I don't agree with. But trying to say, hey, everybody deserves a fair shake at the doctors, that's not one. Now, maybe it could have been done different. And maybe if everybody that's been opposing it would have been fighting for bipartisanship, come on, let's work together, let's do this together, instead of saying, hey, no, we're going to make him look bad and spend all these millions of dollars. Once again, I think if they gave every one of the American citizens that is living in property $100,000 and said you had to spend it here in America, I think that they would still have a whole lot of change left over for the money that they spun to make the president look bad. And when you think about that website that ain't working, it's only common sense. It don't take no rocket science. It don't take nobody with no PhD. It don't take, any genius to know that something's in the background of it not working right. One of my biggest problems with President Obama is that he won't stand up and say it's because I'm black. See, Martin Luther King Jr. stood up for the color of his skin, but he also stood up for the color of everybody else's skin. He said, come on, let's all get along, and live together, and our children play together and roam together and run together. Obama want to act like the color of his skin ain't got nothing to do with what's going on with all this here that's going with with the presidency of the presidency. Forgive my pronunciation. I'm not always that great at pronouncing words, but anybody with common sense knows it's got something to do with the color of his skin. Black in America, once again, you know. But at the end of the day, I got some good news for all y'all that hate him because of the color of his skin. Regardless to whether the Affordable Care Act passes or not, his children and his children's children and their children will always have good medical insurance. So he's not trying to get it for his family. He's trying to get it for you. Makes sense. Why are you fighting against something that will help you? And it's better to get something passed than nothing passed. Because once you got something passed, you can go and you can work on it and make it better. If you never build a house, how can you improve it? They got to show home improvement. So support the house. Anyway, this is my thoughts. I'm sick of hearing these folks talk about the Hair Act. I'm sick of the hypocrisy that goes along with it, but more so, I'm sick of the American citizens that's not looking through the camouflage, the illusion, the game, and saying, hey, you know what? They just, as long as they can keep us divided, they can conquer us. I mean, at the end of the day, what difference does it make? Mike Tyson and Holyfield are good friends now. The Democrats, the Republicans, the left wing, the right wing, they all play golf and eat together. It's really about people like me and you, the 97%. And I don't even consider myself poor at all. As a matter of fact, I think God has been very good to me. How about you? But if something come up and I need a special operation, I want to be able to go and get it. I don't want to be scared to go to the doctor because I can't afford it. Oh, let's do a fundraiser drive. Nah, man. We're American citizens. If we work in America, we should be treated like the rest of America when it comes to health care. Anyway, Bill Clinton should have passed a law. Then we wouldn't be going through this. Or Bush, the one that drug us into the mud. Since, I mean, hey, he was such a great president, right? Anyway, God bless, peace, and all that good stuff. Remember, Black in America. Stay tuned, because I will be back.